For any of the new reporters joining, I see we have a few new faces. Just a reminder of how we operate. When it's time, I'll go ahead and open the floor to questions. You'll go ahead and use the raise hand function, and I'll call on you by name and outlet. From there, feel welcome to unmute and ask your question. If for some reason you're having any technical difficulties, feel free to use the chat. I'll be reading that as well if you want to ask your questions there, or if you have any trouble with the raise hand function. And today joining us, we have the Sanri-Os. So welcome. Thank you so much for joining us today. Their names are on their little Zoom box, so you should know who is answering based on that. But if you have any questions or need clarifications, just let me know. We can go ahead and get started. So reporters, whenever you're ready, feel free to raise your hand and go ahead and ask your questions. Oh, hold on, let's see here. All right, Nadine from Dottie Sports.
Hi guys, so congratulations on making it into the main event. I'm really curious as an unsigned team what this opportunity to play in the main event means for you guys, and what is sort of your mentality going into the main event now that you guys have made it past qualifiers?
Okay, if you want to start, like, I'll go on after you.
Okay, personally, I think it's like a really big achievement for us because we want to prove that we can compete at like the highest level. Like, I mean, in the game changer scene, but also like we want to show that we're capable of like exceeding like the female scene, if that makes sense, like stepping it up and being able to compete in like the tier one male scene if that's possible. And we basically just want to show everybody that we're capable of competing at the highest level in Valorant.
Going on with that, it's very like overwhelming, like at first, because it's something that like I kind of always like dreamt of, like being top 8 in Game Changers, and now that like my like dream has like finally came true, it kind of like showcases like all the hard work that I put in, especially like with my team, because it shows that like we want it, like we want to win. So I think that shows a lot of like our commitment to the game, and like how much work we're willing to put in to like make it to the top.
Great, thank you. We'll go to Lynne from Run It Back.
Hello, everyone. I wanted to extend my congrats as well for making it into the main event. I have a two-part question. So you all have ample experiences on different rosters, but you together as Sanrios are fairly new. So one, I was wondering what led you all to come together to want to compete as a team? And then second, where did your name come from?
You want to go first? Okay.
I can answer because
okay.
You know, so basically how we like started to like become a team is like, well, I'm the captain of the team, and I actually asked Kay if she wanted to build a roster with me, because me and her have been friends for like over 2 years, and we always like had the same aspiration and goals, and I feel like that's really important when you're building a new team, is that's like so everyone's on the same page. And then we like started to like trial some people and kind of pickpocket who had the same goals as us and who wanted to win, and like who we thought could compete on the highest level. So we brought Emlu, and then we brought in Peachtea, which is great. She's here right now, but she's shy too. And then we brought in Panday kind of late. Panday was on Native Gaming, and it didn't work out with that team. So we were like, you know what? This is our opportunity to have like a solid roster and a solid fifth to complete like Sanri-O's. And our name was basically a lot of us like Hello Kitty on our team, and like Sanri-O's is like a brand that's widely like known in Japan, and they also have like some chain stores here in the US, which is called like the Sanrio store. But we kind of wanted it like we kind of want to make a twist on it. We were going with Sanri-O's or like a different name, but like I don't know if I'm allowed to say it because it's kind of like, it's not like vulgar, but it kind of can be. So I don't know if I should say it, but we decided on this cereal theme.
Can I go?
Yeah.
So what Claudia was saying, we made a team together because we've known each other for a long time with the same goals. And I feel like the most important thing for forming our team was definitely our fifth, which was Panda. And we had a really hard time. Even previous rosters with me and Claudia, we had a really hard time finding a fifth member. And I feel like Panda just really like completed us and like really fulfilled like the spot that we needed in the team to like make us like bond. Like we bond so well, and I honestly love everybody on the team. And I think that really comes down to Panda. I think Panda changed the team the most, if I'm gonna be honest. So
I
I
agree.
love Panda. Yeah.
Great. We'll go to Ian at VALORANTing.
Hi. For Kay and then Claudia, who do you draw inspiration from, either as a player or from a team, or maybe someone even outside of Valorant?
For me, I have a lot of people I look up to, but it's definitely my uncle. He used to play CSGO and he's a lot older and he played at a really high level, but he was never able to go pro. And he told me like as soon as I started competing that like I was able to like pursue a dream that he can never pursue. And he still plays Valorant. My dad still plays Valorant, and they all were telling me like I was the only one who could really make it far in terms of like going pro and playing video games and streaming and all that. So I feel like they always pushed me to my limits and told me like I couldn't give up and that I needed to like just keep working on it, keep working on my IGL and just like focus mainly on the game. And I think that's what inspired me the most. As well as Kempeki. I give a huge shout out to Kempeki because he helped me learn a lot about this game, and just overall I really look up to him because he came from nothing to being on Sentinels, which is really good, and he helps me a lot.
Yeah, I have a few people that like actually really inspired me and actually helped me become the player that I am today. Whether it was by just like giving me advice or just coaching me one-on-one. The first person would be Trick. He's on Dark Zero right now. He personally coached me. He made me kind of realize my strengths and my weaknesses as a player, and he helped me fix like my gameplay on a macro level. So I really appreciate him for that. The second person would probably be my old coach, Alpha. He also helped me grasp the concept of like the game more, and I think without him, I wouldn't even be half the player that I am today. And the third person would probably be Crunchy from Sonic, because with their like he knows how to play every single agent in the game. He's good at every role, and the advice that he gives me as a player like it makes me feel like that I could play the game at a high level on any agent just like he does, because he doesn't like give up, and he gives me like the motivation to like be as strong as a player as him. So yeah.
Hello.
Hi.
Yeah, hi, Grace.
I'd like to also answer this question as well. There's two people that inspired me the most. One being my best friend Daniel, that kind of like got me into games in the first place. And the second group of people that inspired me to play, or at least keep playing, is my team. Because when I first started like on this team, I didn't really know like what I was doing. I kind of felt like a brick, and I didn't really know how to play my role well. And I think like through this tournament and the past one, I've definitely been able to fill in my shoes a little better and like keep supporting my team, which is what I want to do. So yeah.
Grace is so cute.
Thank you so much. Perfect. We'll move on to Pedro at blix.gg.
Hey guys, likewise, congratulations on reaching the main event of Game Changers. I want to ask peachtea and Joy about, from your perspectives on reaching this stage, and also we're seeing the growth of this team from another amateur level to them growing to be the top teams in North American VALORANT scene. So I'd just like to know, from your perspective, your growth with the team that then led you guys to the point.
I guess I'll go first. So I'm the manager, and I've been with this team, I think, actually since they first started making the team. I was there for all the trial process, and watching them really expand to being able to play at the level that they're able to right now has been absolutely incredible. I'm literally number one supporter. I'm always there for their tourney games. I bother Grace all the time to stream for me because I absolutely love watching them play. I've watched this team grow from literally as 5 randoms on a team that were just put together as a project to now being, top 8, being able to beat some of these signed players, signed orgs. And the future for this team looks very bright, and I'm super happy to be able to play, or not really play, but manage for them, because this team has been one of the best teams I've been on.
Okay, yeah, so with what Joy said, I'm not the manager, but I'm the primary initiator currently for the team. And I think people easily dismiss the female gender minority scene and discredit the amount of work that players put in. And I think that the amount of growth that everyone has seen from our team directly reflects what we have put in our practices and in our scrims, VOD reviews, and etc. And I think it's actually just really cool to see, and I'm really happy to be here, and I'm happy to support my team. So yeah.
Great, thank you. We'll go back to Lynne at Run It Back.
Okay, so one of the things kind of unique to your team is when you look at the history of the compositions you've all made up, there are a couple of role switches. So, for example, you don't always have the controller player be the controller player on a particular map. So I was wondering what led you to kind of have the diversity in picking certain agents, and do you think that helps give you a leg up on other teams?
I think that us all being really flexible does help the team a lot because, for example, on our fracture, you'll see Emily, which is usually our sentinel player on Brimstone, and that is just something that she wanted to do because she doesn't feel comfortable on playing chamber on that map. So you'll see us doing that a lot because it's just a comfortability thing that, someone is more stronger on a certain map on a certain agent, and that's completely fine because each of us can fill in each other's gaps, and I think that's what makes us really unique and really strong as a team.
Great. These will be our last 2 questions here. Ian at Valoranting.
Hi again. 3 out of the 8 teams in the main event are unsigned. Why do you think that is?
I personally think it's just because a lot of the signed rosters right now are either picking up newer members, and they're not really I wouldn't say prepared, but they're just not as synchronized as they would be if they had more time to practice. So I think that's one main reason. But I also think a lot of the free agent teams is where all the new talent is coming up, and a lot of the signed orgs you see time and time again, like the same repeated players who have been competing at like the highest level in the game changer scene. And then you see all this new talent, all these people who were, getting grouped in soccer cup and game changers, and you see them coming up because, they're putting in that work. And I will always think about this. It's just that hard work beats talent. And if you could have as many talented players as you want on your sign teams, but it's who puts in the hardest work, they're going to make it to the top. And I know that a lot of these free agent teams, they practice so much together, and that's why they're able to succeed way more, in my opinion.
Yeah, to add on to that, I was gonna say that every day people are improving. Every day there's going to be a player that exceeds someone else's skill level, whether if like they're a free agent like player or if like they're signed. And I think that honestly teams should worry about this because they should be able to have like to step it up. Like people are gonna put in the work. People want it. Like we want it. And I think signed teams right now should like be worried about that because we're gonna stand our ground and we're gonna put in the work to be the best.
Great. And we'll go back to Pedro at blix.dg.
This question goes to all of the players in the team. I mean, your first match in Game Changers goes up against Dignitas Female, and so the two-part question. First, how are you guys going to approach Dignitas Female in your upcoming match, and also like where do you stand amongst the remaining teams in this tournament?
Well, we've definitely been preparing. I'm not gonna say what, but even though they have the synergy, we also have the synergy, and we're going to adapt to the way that they play so we could beat them. And on top of like the other teams, I think we could also adapt to how they play because we're gonna prepare ourselves for our match.
Yeah, I agree. I think even us, we have a lot of things to work on since we haven't been a team for a really long time. But I think we really do have a shot at like beating all these other teams because, I think we are something special. And I think like with the small amount of time we had to prepare for Game Changers to make top 8, it shows that like we have barely been a team and we can be the best. You know what I mean? So I think we could adapt really quickly and just beat everybody, try to at least, and we want to be number 1. So that's our goal.
Rick, were there any last questions? We have just another minute left. No? Perfect. Well, thank you, reporters, for joining us. And Sanri-Os, thank you so much as well for being here. We look forward to seeing the remainder of the tournament and good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for
Thanks,
having
everyone.
us.
Thank you for having us.